Hi guys, welcome to our second session for week 2 in DS248. I hope everyone's doing all right today. Today we are going to talk a little bit about responsive web design, the week 2 discussion, the week 2 assignment overview, and the week 2 assessment. And we are going to take a look at the project files and do the week 2 demo. So hi guys, my new office. We have a chalkboard now, and we will be using that. We're not going to need it this week, but we will probably use that sometime this mod. Let's start off with a simple question. What makes a website good or bad? Let's start with good. What do you think makes a website good? When you all have your favorite websites, ones you visit all the time. What's so good about them? Easy to use. Absolutely. That's usually the number one reason we return to a website, right? Because it was easy to use. We found what we wanted. It was quick. Everything went great. What are some other things you can think of? You know where things are. Stuff's easy to find. Absolutely. Well designed. Yes. Well designed. It's not cluttered. It's nice and clean. It's easy to follow. That sort of thing. Those are all perfect reasons on why a website is considered good or bad. Those are the things we look at. What about bad? What makes a website bad? Cluttered. Yes, we all hate those cluttered websites because you can't find anything. Too many things on it. Yep, more of that clutter. Not easy to use. Absolutely. We're not going to use a website unless it's easy, right? Because the web is a convenience. What about broken links? How many of you have been on a website where you tried to click on a link in the website and it didn't go anywhere? Or it went somewhere it wasn't supposed to? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we probably all at some point have clicked on a link in a website, and it either went somewhere it shouldn't have, or it didn't go anywhere at all, or it pulled up one of those 504 pages. What about an unorganized navigation bar? Ever been to a website where it's got a million buttons at the top? We kind of talked about this a little yesterday. Got a million buttons at the top and you don't know which one to choose, because really what you're looking for could be under several of those buttons. Yeah, those drive me nuts, and I don't use those websites. Those are things that we consider bad. So this week's discussion is going to basically, you're going to be talking about whether or not you've ever been to a site and said, wow, how cool. But when you try to interact with it or navigate to get more info, you can't figure out how the navigation system works, so you leave. Well, just because a website has a wow factor, meaning it's designed really well, something about it is just wow, it doesn't mean it's a great website. It can still fail because users can't use it. Maybe can't use it, it's not doing its job. Same goes for a site that has clear navigational content, but the site is boring, nondescript, not much there. You may pass it on because it didn't capture your attention, and so you didn't look further past the homepage. There are many factors involved making a website a good website. Last week, we explored what parameters were required for a good user interface when viewing a website on a mobile device. This week, we will explore what considerations need to be evaluated when designing a website to not only capture a user's attention, but to keep them on the site and possibly become a customer. So this week, as students, you are, well, basically, you're going to be a test market for this discussion. You're going to find 3 sites that you feel are good websites and 3 sites that you feel that fail as a good website, 3 bad websites. You're going to include a link to each of these sites, and under the link, explain in detail why you feel they are successful or why they fail. This can be anything from color, clutter, navigation's confusing, that sort of thing. Whatever attracted you or whatever turns you off from them is what I want you to talk about. So that doesn't mean you have to talk about a million things on that website that are great. Pick out the one thing that really stands out to you. Talk about that. Be specific. Don't just say, I like the colors, and then it is what attracted me to the site. Explain why the colors attracted you. Were they used to help with the mood of the subject matter or the site? So the colors they used let you know you had found what you were looking for? That kind of thing. Try and refrain from searching for bad websites or good website design. Search for topics that interest you. It can even be a site that you already are familiar with and use it because it fulfills your informational needs. Just please be mindful of your fellow classmates and don't use sites that are deemed inappropriate for general audiences. And then you're just going to reply to 2 of your classmates on the websites they picked. So you can use the websites you've liked or ones you remember coming across that you thought, this gets on my nerves. Or you couldn't use it, so you had to find another one. Go back and try to find those sites. Yes, you can Google good and bad websites and pull up all kinds of stuff. But it would be really great if you guys could find some current website. Most of what you pull up out of those articles are going to be expired websites. So find some good and bad websites. They're all over the place. They're not really that hard to find. So just do some searching and see if you can come up with 3 good, 3 bad. And then just tell me what makes them good. Tell me what makes them bad. Make sense? This week's discussion should be fun, so have fun with it. You all have favorite websites. Use one of those, or even a couple of favorite websites. Use those. Absolutely use them. And then try to find some bad ones. Most of you have probably come across a few bad ones. And that doesn't mean they have to be so horrible it's awful. It just means a website that at some point you were on or you found during your research that there was just something wrong with it. It's not a website that you would actually use because there's broken links, navigation doesn't work, the color is horrible, the website is just plain, whatever the case may be. So I'm not asking you to go out and find websites that are just absolutely horrible. Just websites that you feel are not good websites because they have some sort of issue. And then talk about those. The week 2 assignment learning objectives. You are going to create a mock-up for a website for the Lawn Care and Services website. And you're going to define and apply an efficient workflow. The actual directions for this week are all about creating this website. And now that you've kind of gotten your feet wet with HTML and CSS, you get to take a little breather this week and you get to create the PSD mockup for the additional 2 pages. Dreamweaver has an awesome extract tool that makes coding a site very easy from a properly set up PSD file. We will be exploring that feature next week. But this week, you're going to learn to actually set up that file and mock it up so you can use it next week. You're going to get to optimize your images, set up the entire page, choose your fonts, that sort of thing. The PSD file you will work with is set for the proper resolution already for you. So you won't have to really change any of that, but I am going to show you where that would be found so that in the future when you're doing this, you can do it yourself. It is set at 72 ppi. Any external image that you place in this document will adjust to the correct resolution when you go to export the images for web use. Just because an image is a JPG or a PNG format doesn't mean it's optimized for the web. You have to actually change that PPI. So your directions this week is to download the files. You should have already downloaded them this last week. If you turned in your assignment and assessment, you already have these files downloaded. So you're going to open up the 4 wireframe PDF pages found in the folder, Lawn Care Wireframe PDFs. You're going to look through these and decide which 2 you want to mock up in Photoshop for the assignment. In the Finder, you're going to find the file name, Lawn Care Mockup Homepage PSD. You're going to copy it or duplicate it and replace the word homepage with the name of one of the pages you will be mocking up. And you're going to duplicate it again and replace homepage with the second page you're going to mock up. The 4 pages you added in week's 1 assessment are services, gallery, crew, and contact. You're going to pick from those 4 pages which 2 you're going to mock up. Following the branding from the home page for colors, type styles, and sizes used, remove or replace any layers, content, with a content reference from the PDF wireframes for each screen size. All images and copy for these pages are provided in the subfolder you downloaded. Use the provided text from the Word document, not the wireframes. This is a real-world scenario where the final copy will be completed after the wireframing is approved. The text also has what tag you should use when you structure your HTML for this page next week. So that text file is going to be very helpful come next week. Delete any unused layers from the PSD file to keep the size down. Tip: placing the images as linked assets instead of drag and drop or embedding them will keep the file size down and make it easier for you to upload when you need to turn it in. You are going to zip the 2 PSD documents into one file. You are going to name that file DS248 Assignment 2, your first name, your last name. The assessment this week is a 14-question quiz, and it's based on the required reading from week 1 and 2's course media on all of the HTML and things that we did yesterday and last week. This content will have been covered in the live sessions as well. The questions are on HTML and CSS syntax and structure and proper use. Now, first, I think we will test our knowledge for the assessment. How does that sound? Those of you that are here and those of you watching the lecture, this would be a good time to run and get a piece of paper and a pen. You're going to want to take notes because this is the stuff that's going to be on your assessment. So I'll give everybody a minute to run and grab a pen and a paper, and then we will start quizzing our knowledge for this assessment. Let me know when you guys are ready. Okay, looks like everybody's ready. So let's start with the first question. We talked a lot about tags in week 1. Do you guys remember what a open tag looks like, an opening tag? Somebody give me an example of what an opening tag looks like. Yes, exactly. Let me share my word here so that the people watching this recording will be able to see what we're talking about. A tag that has just those 2 brackets, like the P tag. That's an opening tag. Let's make my text bigger to make sure everybody can see it. That is a P tag. That's an opening tag. It's also a paragraph tag, right? So, what is that? Is that also an opening tag? Yes, absolutely. It's an opening tag. Now, the figure tag is not something we have gone over yet. So we're going to go over the figure tag today. According to W3C School, the figure tag specifies self-contained content like illustrations, diagrams, photos, code listings, that sort of thing. It will also contain things like your captions for images. Those kind of things go in between figure tags. They are, this is new to HTML. So while the content of a figure tag is related to the main flow of the website, its position is independent of the main flow. And if removed, it wouldn't affect anything. It's kind of like a div tag, except for it's a figure tag. Make note of that. A figure tag is commonly used to contain things like, what kind of things did I say it contained? Images, graphics, illustrations, captions for the image, that sort of thing. So now, what is an HTML? What are HTML5 tags? We haven't really gone over that specific definition. So what do you guys think the HTML5 tags are? These are HTML5 tags. Those 2 tags up there are HTML5 tags. And they're predefined for us, right? Predefined. And what do they help us do? They help us with structural elements, right? Remember those boxes? When we put a tag somewhere, that means we can control it with CSS because it basically has this invisible little box around it, right? And we can move it up, down, left, right. So it helps us with the structure. So HTML tags are predefined that help with structural elements on a website. So if I had some tags, let's talk about actual code for a minute because this is on your assessment. Now imagine that all the top code is already there. The body code is there, the body tag is there, header tag is there, and then we have a nav tag. And under that nav tag, we have a UL tag. And then of course, we have an LI tag. And it says cat. And we have that closing LI tag. And then we have another LI tag. This is dog. And then we have the closing UL tag. And then we have a closing nav tag. So what would you see on the page? Would you see this? Or would you see this? Would you see the numbers or the bullets? The bullets, yes, because UL stands for what? Yeah, you need the CSS code to take them away. What is UL? Untitled list. It's actually unordered list. Yes. Unordered list. So you get bullets instead of numbers. What is the tag for an ordered list? If UL is unordered, what do you think the ordered list tag is? OL, that's correct. That is an ordered list. And LI stands for what? What does LI stand for? List item. So now let's practice some more code. Okay, Raven, the lecture will get posted as soon as it processes and I can post it. Again, we're going to imagine we have everything down to our nav tag. So you've got a nav and it says class equals logo. And then you've got an H1 tag. And a closing H1 tag. Then you've got a P tag. And a closing P tag. And then you've got an H3 tag. And a closing H3 tag. And then you have your nav tag, closing nav tag. What do you see on the screen when you view this in the browser? What's it going to show you when you look at this in your web browser? Logo is a class. It's not actually going to show you logo. It's not going to show you anything because there is nothing in these empty spaces. There is no content whatsoever, so the page is going to be blank. You don't actually have a logo image. You don't have any headings. You've got tags for your headings, but there's nothing, there's no actual words there between them. So nothing appears in those spots. So this page would be absolutely blank. You're not going to see anything. So if I had an opening tag, oops. If I have an opening tag called header, what's the closing tag look like? Absolutely correct. It looks just like this. All closing tags look just like that, don't they? Any tag that has a closing tag looks just like this. What two tags don't have closing tags? Anna just told us which two they are. The image tag doesn't have a closing tag. Neither does the line break tag. Those two tags don't actually have closing tags, but any element tag that has an opening and a closing, the closing is always going to have this backslash in front of the element name. That's right, Anna. They don't have closing tags because they don't contain content. Now, how does that work with the image tag? Because, well, it shows an image, but it doesn't actually contain content, right? There's nothing between it. That image is just a source. That's all it is. That image tag is just pointing to a source because the picture technically isn't physically on your page. It's copied from the images folder that you upload to your web server. And it's placed there temporarily. That's why after the IMG it says SRC. The source for that image is here. You're going to grab it, copy it, put it on this page temporarily until they close this page, and then it disappears. Okay. The World Wide Web Consortium, which is W3C, defines the web standards or specifications for what? What can you find on W3C? More specific, Anna. Coding is correct, but what kind of coding? Your HTML and your CSS. That is correct. The World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, defines the web standards or specifications for HTML and CSS languages. What does CSS stand for? Do you guys know what CSS stands for? Yes, I talked about it a little bit in week 1. Cascading style sheet. Oops. That is what CSS stands for, Cascading Style Sheet. What is the CSS style statement to apply color to text? What does that attribute look like? Let's say I have my header rule and I want to turn the text a certain color. What does that attribute say? Does it say background color? Does it say text color? Background color actually turns the background to color. If you want to turn just the text a color, it looks just like that. And then, of course, you pick your color. That would be white. So color, just the word color, turns text to color. The word background color would turn like the entire div color. The entire div tag, the background would be black. Kind of like on your info box dark and your info box tan from last week. You had to change their colors. Or your background color on the home page, you changed that color as well. That would be labeled under background color. But when you change the text white in the footer, you did that with an attribute just called color. With HTML, you've given a basic structure to your web page using the structure tags, like your headers, your H1s, your paragraphs, your footers, your main tags, that sort of thing. But the only styling of these tags comes from each browser's default setting. Eventually, you want to add color, format text, and images, and reposition elements on your page. What is the language that works with HTML to apply these styling formats to your web page? Yes, CSS. Text color changes the HTML code, but background color changes in CSS. No, both can be done in CSS. You just have to do the attribute different. Color is just for text. Background dash color would be the background, the actual background color. Make sense? So when we want to change the elements in HTML, our text color, our background color, the way the page is aligned, we use what? What do we use to control the HTML code? We use CSS, right? That's what controls the HTML code. It tells it what to do, how to look. So if I have an H1 rule, it's going to capitalize that. You guys know it's not supposed to be capitalized, right? There we go. That's H1 blue text. And I have a font attribute. Set to 24 pixels. Will it change all of my font on the page to 24 pixels or just some of it? Just the blue. So if my code looked like this, oops. And then underneath that, I had an H1 dog. Which one of those is going to be blue and which one is going to be black? H1 will be blue. They're both H1 tags. So which H1 tag would be blue? The class blue text. There it is. Yes, only the H1 tag that has a class that says blue text will be blue. The other H1 will stay at its default color, which is black. What about font size? Which one will be 24 point? Both of them or just one of them? Remember, H1 says H1 dot blue text. We have this is our CSS for that H1 blue text. And the class is assigned to this H1 tag. This tag doesn't have a class assigned to it. So the only one that's going to be 24 points is the one that has the class assigned to it. What is this code? When you see that in your CSS, what does it mean? What does this media tell you? It's not a video attachment. This is tablet view. This is your responsiveness right here. It's kind of what would be considered a breakpoint. This is where your CSS changes so that your web page will fit in a tablet view. So at media, and then parentheses, minimum width 768 says, okay, when the screen size reaches 768, you need to look like this. Otherwise, you need to look like what's above me before we got to this media query. Or what the other media query is. In the files you're working on this mod, you have two other media queries. Your original CSS is written to control cell phone size. And then you have a media query for tablet view, and you have a media query for desktop view. That's how your screen knows to change when it's so big or so small. It knows what to look like. So, lock this to memory, guys. There's a question on the assessment about this and what it's supposed to look like. That is the correct way it is supposed to look. When styling a responsive website, media queries are written in the code to tell the browser to look for which type of device the user is using. What type of code or media queries? What type of code are they? So where would you find this code? That's the best way to answer it. What type of code is that? It's not HTML, it is CSS. That's correct. Now, let's say you have a website and you have an image up here, and then you have a banner down here, and you have another image here, and you have some sort of text section here. And I want to make it so, and you have a button here. Let's do a button. I want to make it so when they click on this button, it will automatically go down to this section. What do I use to do that? A link, a hyperlink. It's actually called an anchor. I have to basically identify, it has to be a unique ID of that section. So my code might look like something like this. I'm going to have my A tags. Oops. A-H-R-E-F equals and then in my section I would have something like ID equals below. Oops, I forgot the quote there. And then whatever text I had in here. So what happens when they click on this button? It's automatically going to find this very unique ID. And it's going to go to it immediately. It is very much like a hyperlink, but it's actually called an anchor. In Dreamweaver, if you open your properties panel or you go up to insert and you go to HTML elements, you will see a little anchor symbol. And that is how you apply anchors where you need to. That's how the sliding web pages worked. A couple years ago, they were very, very popular. There's still plenty of them around, but it's all, every single web page is on one page. And when you click the navigation button, the page just slides. You guys been on one of those sites? Push the button, the page just scrolls up, and you're in that section. Push another button, and it either scrolls down or scrolls up, depending on where the section is. So you have to add a unique ID to the section of the page you want to link to. The code for hyperlinks is basically the same thing. If I wanted to link the word, let's say I had an H1 tag. And it was I wanted to link it to Adobe. So I would have an A tag. F equals HTTPS www.adobe.com, and then the word Adobe. I'm not closing H1 tag. The code would look like this. So what would happen is Adobe would, by default, unless you changed it, would be blue and it would be underlined. So when they clicked on it, it would take me to https www.adobe.com. If I were to just put www.adobe.com in here, it would not work. You have to have that HTTPS and your backslashes in order to make it work. You can just link it, the href. Source is used for media tags, image tags, that sort of thing. But if you're just hyperlinking, you can use, just like you did for your navigation, you can use the href. Okay, so if you add the href attribute and you have the a tag, what do you put between the quotations? You can put lots of things between those quotations, right? So if I had an a tag and it said href equals patients, there's my tag, cat. What can I put here? If I want people to be able to click on cat and do something, they can do what? One of two things, right? They can go to a certain place in your website or a certain page. So I could put lots of things in there, or I could put a website address in there, right? So the full URL has to be what, right? I can't do www.petsrs.com. Is that going to take me anywhere? No. But if I do HTTPS and the colon and the 2 backslashes, now will it take me somewhere? Yes, now it will take me to the PetsRS website. That is pretty much the entire content of your assessment, guys. So if you took notes, it's going to be pretty easy for you. Any other questions on tags? Can it be HTTP / question mark? There has to be a website address there, because HTTP : / question mark isn't going to take you anywhere. If you tried to type that in your browser, what would come up? Oh, yes, it could be HTTP. It doesn't necessarily have to be an S, unless the website you're linking to is actually an HTTPS site. There is a difference. Most sites have a dual, and it doesn't really matter which one you use. It will take you to their default, but some sites only have one, and you have to know whether it's HTTPS, which is a secure website, or HTTP, which is not a secure website. Any other questions? Okay, then we will switch over to Photoshop and start with the actual demo for the assignment. Okay, everybody see my Photoshop? You really can't use, Anna, are you the one that doesn't have Photoshop installed yet? And are having issues with it? Both of you. Yes, I will give you the okay to go ahead and do that, but you both should be aware it's going to mean next week you have to do things a little bit differently. So you're going to need to be sure you get with me at some point during the lectures next week so we can go over that specifically for you guys. Sean will be back in the office tomorrow. He's been out. I just tried to send him an email too and found out he's out of the office. He will be back tomorrow, so hopefully you should get that then. And there's actually, let me go back to Sean's email address because there's somebody else you can email. James. Here is James's email address. You can email him. He is in the office, and he can also resend you your information about your upgrade. But if you don't get it taken care of, then yes, use Illustrator. Just remind me next week that you had to use Illustrator so we can go through how you're going to need to get your images and stuff into Dreamweaver, because Photoshop and Dreamweaver will work together, but Illustrator and Dreamweaver will not. Okay, guys, you are going to go navigate to the folders you downloaded last week, and you are going to open up the mock-up of the home page. And you're also, you can just hit OK. When you see this message come up, just hit OK. And then you're going to open your Finder or your library if you're on a Windows computer. And you're going to navigate to where you have those files saved. And there's your wireframes. You need to pick the 2 pages you are going to use. There's the services page. There is the gallery page, the lawn care, the crew page, and the contact page. My suggestion is you do the crew page and the contact page. One, you are going to have an image in week 4 in order to create the contact page. And the image's transparency has to be turned down and saved that way. So mocking it up this week will mean less work in week 4. And then you need the crew page. The services page is identical to the home page. It's the exact same, different pictures. So mock up that crew page because it is very, very different. In the gallery page, we will actually be using Bootstrap to create the gallery on the gallery page. So mocking it up is really not going to help you any. It just means next week you're going to have to go back and make your images for the crew and contact page web ready. So my advice is you do the contact page and you do the crew page this week. I'm going to start with the crew page. So I'm going to go back to Photoshop. The first thing I'm going to do, grab my move tool, your 4-corner arrow. I'm going to make sure auto select is checked. And I'm going to go over to my desktop page here. I'm going to click on that very first image. I'm going to hit the delete key. Same thing with the blue box and the green box and the images. And the white boxes. I'm going to do that to every single one of these artboards. It's going to clean up your layers panel for you. Oops. And so you end up with just your header and your footer, which is on every single page. And you will notice in your layers panel over here, you have folders. You've got the 1024 desktop, the 1048 mobile. You're going to start with the desktop. So that means you need to be in that section. In your layers panel, make sure you click on it. I'm going to click on my background image so that every layer goes right above that. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to File. I'm going to place linked. Watch my little circle rainbow. And navigate to my starter files. And click on my wireframes. And I'm going to click on the wireframe for the crew page. And I'm going to hit place. And I'm going to choose the desktop size one, which is number 1. And it's going to kind of place it on this page. Now it's a little smaller than it needs to be. So I'm actually going to scale it so that we match. Yeah, things will look a little skewed. That's okay. You're going to get rid of that wireframe. Basically, it's just a guide, a blueprint. So then I'm going to need to put my stuff on here. Well, I have to come up with a bar. We know what colors we're using on our website based on last week's stuff, right? Blue, green, those sort of colors. So I'm going to take my square tool and make that little bar. Make that little bar that goes across there. And it needs to be turned to color. I'm going to use the blue. Zoom in there a little more. Oops, too much. And resize that. That works. And it needs to say meet the crew, right? I'm going to make my text white. And definitely needs to be bigger. And if I remember right, let's go back and see what font choice we're using here. Arial. So I'm going to change that to Arial. And I'm going to put it down here and line it up. Sure it gets centered. There's my meet the crew. So now I need to start placing my images. I'll go to File, Place Linked. The images will be in your starter files in the folder that says Lawn Care Site Images, not in your site root folder. It's going to be in the folder that's outside, right above the wireframe folder. You're going to find the folder that says, find the image for that placeholder, which is the image is owner. So let's see what we have here. Services, services, gallery, gallery, gallery. Crew, oh, there it is, crew owner. I'm going to go place. I think my background is still a little too skewed. So I'm going to go ahead and place that for a second and adjust my background just a little bit. It needs to be a little wider. Somewhere right in there. And then I'm going to take my image and make it smaller. And it's going to need to fit right in here in some way. 1, 2, 3. Still a little too big. So I need to kind of crop this image a little bit, don't I? It's not the perfect image to fit there the way I need it to. I'm going to hit my plus sign, grab my rectangle tool, and I am going to crop this image. Just going to mask it so that it hides that portion of it that I don't want. Let's see, blow that up a little bit more so I can size it better. Somewhere right in there will work. It's not a perfect fit, and guys, you're not going to get it to fit perfect. It's just not going to happen. Get it the best fit that you can, because your PDF is not the exact same size as your artboard. So you're just going to fit it the best you can, make your picture look the best it can, and then kind of resize everything based on that. Make sense? There's my image. Make sure he doesn't look too skewed. He looks fine. So you can scale him a little bit to kind of get him to fit that box. It won't fit it exactly because you do not want him to look skewed. But there was enough there that you could scale it a little bit and the image still looks perfectly fine. So then we have this box. Meet Dave the Owner is our next box. So again, I'm going to grab my square tool and make a square across here. And this time, I think I might leave it blue for this one. It didn't specify color in that box, did it? Nope, didn't specify a color, so I'm going to leave it blue. And then I need to meet Dave the Owner. And I can't spell today. And Meet Dave the Owner was all on one line. I'm going to pull this up here and go to my type tools and take a look at what we have. We have Arial. I'm going to change this to Arial Narrow and make it a little smaller. Meet Dave the Owner. Now there's some other text that goes there, but that's in the Word document. So I'm just putting the headings on there for right now. So then we have the About Us box. Again, cover this box. This time I'm going to change the color. I think we will use the green. Right, it's like that color green. And this will be, of course, About Us. And I'm going to use the same 24 point that I used in Meet Dave the Owner. And I'm going to put it up here. Then we have the image of the crew. So once again, File, Place Linked, and Crew Team. Place, there it is. Scale it down. Pull this image over here. place it in there. And then we have the crew box. And I need to resize my bar up here. It's not quite big enough. Back to my square tool. And this is the crew box. I want to leave it blue. I think I'm going to leave this one blue, but I want to change, I'm going to change the top header bar there. I'm going to leave this one blue and add my title. The crew. There, and then this one, I want to make it green. Like that. That's better. So there's my crew page. All I need to do is go back and add my copy text. So I'm going to go to my Finder and go into the mockup, the Lawn Care PSD mockup folder, and there is the website copy. I'm going to open it up. Come on. There it is. And this is on all pages, so we've already done that. And I am mocking at the crew page. So I'm going to find the crew page. Meet the crew page. Meet the crew. Meet Dave the owner. And it tells you, meet the crew should be an H1. H2 is meet Dave the owner. And then we have some paragraph text under that. I'm going to copy all of this. I'm just going to highlight it. I'm going to copy it. Come over to Dreamweaver. Make a little text box. Paste it in there. Definitely doesn't need to be 24 point. I'm going to make it 14 point. Grab that text box and bring it up here. Go back and grab my type tool. Definitely needs to be smaller. Don't forget to leave a little bit of white space on the side. And turn off your hyphenate. Nothing should be hyphenated. Not bad. I'm at 24 point. I'm going to bring that up just a little bit. $30 might be too much. We'll see. 30 is too much. I'm going to do 28. And it should be left aligned, not centered. Like that. This bottom, however, this is supposed to be centered. Oops. Highlight this and center it like that. So there is my Meet Dave. So now I need the about us text. Type tool, text box through here. Go back to my copy text and highlight the about us section. Oops. I'm going to paste it in here. Now this one is not quite long enough. If I were to go back and turn off that rectangle, I hope it is long enough. We're okay. Oh, not quite. looks like it has a bigger space here. So I'm going to grab, I'm just going to hit my enter key. And then I'm going to up my leading just a little bit to add some, take up some space there. Because remember, this box is going to be size based on the text that's inside of it, right? We can add so much padding to the bottom, but if you get to adding a lot of padding, you start running into issues with not being able to get things to line up. So we can add a little, but not a whole lot. So we got to make sure things are spread out. Be sure to remember to take your hyphenate off. And things are looking a little better there. So then we have the crew. From top going clockwise should be an H3. So I'm going to copy it first. Make a type box. Paste that in there. Uh-oh. Try that again. Copy. Paste. And white text is fine. Now it is a H3. If H2 is at 24, H3 should be at about 18. And area, but we're not showing up. Nope, still not showing up. Oh, I see why. I accidentally had my cursor down there. Let's bring that up here. There we are. Command V. There we are. 18 point. That works. So I'm going to hit my enter key twice. And then we have this paragraph. I'm going to copy all of that. Oops. Place it in here. And then it has to be spread out. So that means I'm going to have to up my leading pretty good. It needs to take out that box. Let's go back to our blue square. No, wrong one. There it is. Oh, we're getting there. Looks like, let's go back one. That's pretty spot on. Again, you're not going to get things to be perfect, guys. Just get them close. And everything should be left aligned. So I'm going to grab my black arrow, left align that text box, and then zoom in here. Grab my type tool. I need to add that white space. Like that. And then zoom out. Well, there's the crew page desktop. So I can click on this PDF in the back and hit my delete key. We're looking pretty good. So now I have to do all of that to my tablet view, right? Easiest way is I'm going to select that rectangle. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to click over here on 768 and I'm going to paste it. Maybe. And copy. And it's giving my text. It's not select. Oops. It's not selecting my bar. Come on. Command click so that it outlines it. I forget I'm in Photoshop. And then you could copy it. And then you can come over to 768. And it still didn't paste it. Why aren't I copying? There's my rectangle. Yes. And click. Edit. Copy. Paste. And drag it over here. And I can do my Command T as in Tom. And resize it so that it fits the artboard. That. And then I can click on this picture. Another way to do it instead of command selecting and getting your selection arrow is you can click on the object, hold your command key down and hit the letter J as in jar. It will duplicate that layer. And then you just take that image or box or whatever it is you've copied and you pull it over to this page. Now, we need to place our PDF in here so we know what we're doing. So I'm going to go to Place Linked. And back to my wireframes, back to my crew page and hit place. This time I'm going to choose the tablet view and hit OK. There it is. It's pretty much spot on. Like that. My check mark. Now in my tablet folder, which is here, we are done with desktop. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to grab this and drag it down here so that it's below everything. Like that. So I can line this stuff up. So this needs to come up just a little bit higher. Like that. My picture needs to come up here. And I need to scale it. Looks like I can release the clipping mask. And delete layer mask. There it is. And then scale it to fit in this box. As close to it as you can get it. I want to leave some white space at the top of that. There should be a little bit of white space. I'm just going to move him down like that. And then we have Meet Dave the owner. This time I'm going to leave the bar blue. I'm going to make this box over here, green. I'm going to make this box. I'm going to make it start even with that image. And it's going to be blue. And this is Meet Dave the owner. Let's zoom out here. And as you can see, my Photoshop has decided to do what it wants. This has been happening a lot lately. Have you guys been having this issue? It just scrolls all on its own. I try to move it a little and it goes a mile. I'm going to grab this text and Command J as in jar, and duplicate it, drag it over here, and place it on this screen, and go back to my paragraph text, Command J as in jar, and pull it over here as well. Now I need to resize it a little bit. So I'm going to grab my type tool, click in that text box, and make this text box a little wider. My check mark. Move it around a little bit so it's lined up in that box has enough white space. We talked about that yesterday. While the white space has been pretty much determined for you, you are going to have to determine some of it, like inside these blue boxes you make. And then the About Us section, well, it's green. I'm going to Command J as in jar. Oops, wrong one. Command J as in jar. Pull this over here. Command T as in Tom. It's the shortcut for scaling for your transform tools. And then click on my text box. Command J as in jar. About Us. Was it centered? Nope, it's left aligned in this box. Goes over here. My paragraph text. Command J as in jar. Pull it over here and then grab my type tool and click on top of a letter and resize it all in here. Just like that. And then we have the image of the crew page. I'm going to click on it. J is in jar. And move it over here. Command T is in Tom. Realign it. My enter key. And then we have the last one, the crew. Command J is in jar. Oh, not the text. Command T is in Tom. Okay, Yvonne. And then I'm going to duplicate those headings. Command J is in jar. Pull this over here and line it up. And then the list. Command J is in jar. Pull it over here and line it up. And there is the tablet view. So I'm going to click on that PDF and hit delete. It's gone. So that's 2 of my pages down. Looks like I've got a bit of an issue right up here. Not quite aligned there. I'm going to click on this blue square. Command T is in Tom. There we are. Bottom looks good. Those look good. I think we're good there. So now it's the cell phone. So I am going to click on that artboard. Go back up to the tablet view and minimize it so it's not in my way. Open up the mobile view and click on that very last, second to the last. I'm going to click on that text box and go to File and Place Linked and my wireframe of the crew page. It's time the cell phone, and it's huge. Drag it down here and line it up. Definitely has to be scaled. Scale that up there. About like that. I'm going to drag it down to the very bottom so I can see the footer in front of it. Oh, come on. Yeah, somewhere in there will work. Again, it's not going to be perfect. So I'm going to grab that green box, Command J is in jar, and just bring it over here. And then Command T is in Tom. I'm just going to resize it so it matches the artboard. And then image of Dave and J. Command T is in Tom. Resize it. And then meet Dave, the owner, which is blue. So Command J should be here. Command T. And then my text. I'm going to go ahead and select both of those. So Command J. Put them both over here. Command T. Spread that out a little bit so it looks good. And then the About Us. Command J. Then you can redraw all of this if you want to, guys. This is just the quickest way to do it. It's just to duplicate those layers and draw them where you want so you don't have to retype or redraw anything. It's just there. And then the About Us and the paragraph text. About Us should be centered. And then my type tool, so I can resize this text box. Like that. And then the crew image, Command J, Command T. And it's not copy, it's duplicate. Duplicate, and it's Command J as in jar. There's my image. So now I need the blue box. Command J as in jar. Line that up here. Command T as in Tom. And then my text. Now my text has to look a little different, doesn't it? It's a little too spaced out. So I'm going to adjust that. We'll go 18. Oh, too much. How about 30? Not enough. 36. 48. Better. What about 52? 54. Oops. 54. 54 will do it. And then I'm going to click on that PDF and delete. Oops. Let's try that again. See if I can get just the PDF. Oh, it doesn't want to give it to me. So I'm going to have to go find it in my layers panel and hit delete. And there is the cell phone. So the crew mock-up is absolutely complete. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Save As. And I'm going to click on that mock-up folder. And I'm going to change Home Page to Read Crew Page. And just save it. Now, if you guys want to help me with grading, also save it as a PDF. It'll make it a lot easier for me to grade it if I don't have to open up every single Photoshop file. Just save it as a Photoshop PDF. Same name, it's fine, and hit save. And you're going to just zip 4 files together. And I'm going to do smallest file size so it opens really easy. And there's the mock-up of that page. I'm going to let it finish saving. Any questions so far, guys? This is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Just pay attention to your text to make sure you make your text all the same size. Your headings should be all the same size. Your subheadings, like the meet day, the about us, the crew, they should be all the same size with the same font. Your paragraph text should be about 14 points. And then just get it lined up as best you can. As you can see from mine, it's not going to line up exactly perfect. You can get pretty close though. And then you're going to do your crew page. Almost done saving. Come on, there we go. And we're going to do it basically the same way. I'm going to go through here and delete all of this stuff I don't need. And it, yes, that's it. So back up to my desktop. And meet the crew still on this one. There we go. And I'm going to place, go to file, go to place linked, and we're going to do the contact page now. Desktop, starter files, wireframe, contact, place, desktop. And it's going to look something like this. Once again, we need that bar. And I'm going to stay with the same branding that I've made for the services for the crew page, and I'm going to do that in the green. And the text box says contact us. $36 points. Right there, and then there's a background image, and there's this nice little contact box. So, and the phone number, and 20%. It tells you here, puzzle photo, 20%. That's what I'm going to place next. File, place linked. Go back into your lawn care site images folder, not your site root images, but the folder that actually says lawn care site images. And find the puzzle, the contact background is what it says, and place it. And then you're going to turn the opacity down to 20%. You can just click in this little box in your layers panel and hit type 20 and hit your enter key. There is the image for your background. And then you're going to go to your contact page, copy text. You've got the contact us. How may we help you is an H2. So I'm going to copy it. Grab my type tool, and that text box goes right here. Paste that. and change it to 24 point is what I assigned for the H2s. Bring it down here. Now, my text looks smaller than what's there, but you need to remember I skewed that PDF. So it's not, the text is not exactly sized right. 24 point is your H2. And then it had some paragraph text. So I'm going to go over here, copy that paragraph, on my type tool, create that text box, paste. And our type is supposed to be at 14 point. Move that up. Oops. Looks like there's more text here than what was on the wireframe. Take note of that. So you're going to actually have 3 lines of text there. I am going to turn down my leading just a little bit. I'm going to take it to 30 point. Take it to 24 point. That's better. And I'm going to have 3 rows of text there. And then we have the name, email, phone number, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to grab my type tool. I'm going to turn my fill color to white. Maybe. On my square. Turn my fill color to white. There's my first one. Right there. And I'm going to duplicate that. Command J. I need one for email. Command J again for phone number. Command J again for my message box. Then Command T. And make it just a little bit bigger. And then I need to add the text boxes for name, email, phone. I need name, email, phone, preferred method of contact. Yes, preferred method of contact. And then comments / questions. And I'm just going to spread it out. 6, 48. And it needs to be black. So I'm going to change my color to black. And then I need to make these little boxes for email or phone. To correct some spelling. I'm going to grab my square tool again, and I'm just going to make my little box. It should be white. I'm going to duplicate it. It's going to be another one over here for phone. Grab my type tool, email. Phone. And then my questions or comments. So there's my contact form. Turn back on, and I need to do my send and reset buttons. So once again, I'm going to leave that button blue, and I'm going to make the reset button blue as well. I've got one that says submit. But it said submit, right? Send. Oops, it said send. So send. And reset. And then I need to add my phone number and that sort of thing, which is all of this information. So I'm going to copy it back to Photoshop, and it gets spread out right here in this area. See? And it says that it's an H3. Pull this up, and H3 is 18 points. Type tool, got some issues going on here. I need to take out that space. Monday through Friday. This needs to be bumped down. This has a space in it that needs to be removed. And my text needs to be black. That again. Text needs to be black. There it is. So now I'm going to scroll down here, find that PDF. Yep, we're looking pretty good. So I'm going to delete that PDF. Zoom out. Now, right now, it looks a little funny, but here's what's going to happen when you save it, guys. The background color in that little picture is going to be more white. So it's not going to quite look as transparent as it does right now, but right now it needs to look that way. So you have to leave it that way. When you actually save it and put it into Dreamweaver, the background will be whiter. And this text should be black. I need to make that change. And this text is black. Like that. So there's my contact page. So now I just need to duplicate it and put everything on this page. So I'm going to go to File. First, I'm going to close this folder. Go down to my tablet view. Find that last picture. Go to File. Place linked. Wireframes. Contacts. Number 2. And duplicate my Contact Us in my green bar, which is Command J. I'm just going to drag it over here and place it on this page. Command T as in Tom. And then my contact form. So my picture, Command J. Come over here. And T as in Tom. It's really going to end up looking like this on the page. I'm just going to make it kind of fit there. And then I need to select all of the rest of this. and J. Pull this over here. Deselect everything. Grab my type tool. I'm going to fix this paragraph box first. That's going to turn down. Turn down that leading just a little bit. My name should be down here. Move my reset buttons here. Here, my comments box is down here. And T is in Tom. Resize that box a little bit. And then it looks like my buttons are not exactly wide. I need to fix that. Zoom out. Grab these boxes. And J. They go over here. Select my email, my little boxes. Preferred method of contact. And then phone, email, name. Questions or comments is there. So this box actually needs to come up a little bit, which means my reset buttons need to come up. Right there. And then my phone number. To come over here. I'm going to zoom out. Let's see how this looks without the PDF on it. That looks pretty good. We're still good to go there. So then we have the cell phone. File. Close my tablet here. Fine. There it is. The footer. File. Place linked. Contact. Place. Number 3 this time. This page is not going to need to be that long. I don't even think it'll need to be that long. It should be something like this. So we're going to actually have to shorten this page in this file. So let's start with the contact. We're going to duplicate it. And you're going to have to transform that box. A little smaller. I'm going to contact us. Oops. Goes here. And this photo. And J. Pull my photo over here. And then my text box, Command J. It goes here. A paragraph. starts there. And it needs to be spaced out again. So 24 points, that's better. And then my input boxes, Command J. They're definitely a different size in cell phone view. They do need to be a little bit smaller, so you're going to have to scale those. Then I'm just going to duplicate that on this page and use it for my email, my phone, and my comments box. Command T, scale it. And grab that text, Command J. Right there. So my comments box needs to come up a little bit. And to get my buttons. And J. And my send button goes here. And my reset button over here. I'll move them up a little bit, like that. And then my phone number and stuff. Command J. Phone number and all of that goes right there at the end. I'm going to delete that PDF. Now you see all this space we have here. That's a bit of an issue, isn't it? So I'm going to select that footer. Grab it. I'm going to drag it up the page. And realign it down there like that. And grab my crop tool. Click on that artboard. And scale this page up on the bottom. Right at the footer. And then we have our crew page, our contact page. That's your mock-up. Any questions? The homework, guys, take advantage of this week because this is going to be the easiest week all month long. Next week is the toughest week all month long. Take advantage of this week. Get your stuff done early so you can get things done. Enjoy yourself because next week you have a lot of work in store for you. So take advantage of this week. Get your work done early so you can enjoy your weekend. So you're all relaxed and ready to start on Monday or Sunday morning if you attend the lecture with getting stuff done for next week. Because next week is a big week. You can do it, I promise. I'm going to walk you through it step by step, just like I did week 1. But it is a big week. There is a lot to do next week. Sean, if you want to stick around after the lecture here in just a moment, I can help you with it if you need help. Okay. Any questions on the assignment, guys? Okay, Tabitha. The assignment is pretty simple. You're just going to use that wireframe and remark up 2 pages. I suggest you do the crew page and the contact page because you're going to need those next week. And all it is Photoshop. You're just pulling the images in and placing them where they need to be according to the wireframe and just remarking up that page like the home page mock-up. File. Save as. This is the crew. This is the contact page. So change that name to contact. Again, if you will save it as a PDF and a Photoshop file, it will make it much easier for me to grade. The gradebook says you only have to turn it in as a PSD, and it's fine if you do. I'm not going to count off, but it will help me grade if you will submit a PDF as well, so that I don't have to download and open every single Photoshop file. I can just open your PDFs and make sure you did it. Yeah, I want you to submit all 4, your PSD and the PDF files. So you're going to have 4 files. So you have to mock up 2 pages. And for those of you that were here, hopefully you took notes when I was going over the assessment. If not, I would strongly suggest that you rewatch the recording and take some notes. Those of you watching it at home, if you need to rewind, be sure you take some notes on that assessment, guys. You're going to need it. And we went over everything that's going to be in there. So take some notes and take the test. Any questions? Nope. Okay, then we will conclude the lecture. I'll see you guys at 9 a.m. on Sunday for the lecture for week 3. If you need me, you can email me. Those of you that still need help with last week, stick around and we will do that. Otherwise, everyone else, have a good evening, and I will hopefully see you Sunday. Okay, Sean, do you have your Dreamweaver and stuff open?
Can you hear me? Yes, I'm getting it now. I thought I still had it up. I just got home from work, so I am pulling that up as we speak.
Once it gets open, just share your screen with me.
Where did it go? Yeah, I had the hardest time getting everything basically together here. And then from there, everything started going south. I don't know if you got an email from Bill, but he was trying to help me out as much as he could. I'm just going to unzip the file. Don't tell me I think I trying to save this thing. I think I lost it.
Uh-oh.
Here's my zip folder. Images. I think I even sent you the wrong file. That's not good. File. Open recent. I think I found it.
Okay.
Okay. So then let me share my screen. Okay. So I started, I tried to start on Thursday, and it took me from Thursday night to literally 10 o'clock Saturday evening. Well, 11 o'clock Saturday evening when I submitted everything just so I can get something in for grading to give you what I got.
Okay. Well, your cell phone and your tablet view look correct. It's the desktop you're having issues with.
Kind of. I'm actually having a problem with them all.
Okay.
As far as the scaling of getting the processes how they need it to be for the cell phone view and the tablet view to get the boxes to work how they needed to.
Right.
It was trying to get everything as far as the desktop view to work how I needed it to, because no matter what I did, I can't get this image to move to the left.
Right. Well, that's because you're not actually viewing the desktop right now. Look at the bottom of your screen in the left-hand corner. See where it says 908? Very bottom of your, right below your code. See where it says 908, 258? Yes, click that drop down and change it to 1024, 768. Now you're viewing your desktop. So we need to go into your CSS. Let's see your CSS file. Click on styles.css in the left-hand corner.
Oh, right there.
Yeah. Now you've got some errors. So let's see if we can figure out what's going on with your CSS. Scroll down.
Well, I know from the image itself, which is here, right?
You've got some actual coding errors. See that little exclamation down there by CSS? Scroll down some more. So that means you've got a bracket missing or an extra bracket or something like that going on, right?
Well, I see the explanation point when I look through this.
This looks fine. Just keep scrolling down. Oh, that looks fine, but you have an error somewhere. You're missing something. Go back up.
Oh.
Go back to the very top. You should have there's two lines that are highlighted. Semicolon, semicolon, semicolon. So give me just a second. Let me look at something here. I don't think you should have that in. No, that's what I thought. At the top, erase lines 10 and 11. Now go to File, go to Save All.
Because then I started trying to work on these two, but it seemed like I'm having these big spaces.
Well, your box sizing should say border box, not content box.
Oh.
On line 8, where it says content box, that should say border box.
Okay.
And then that all looks good. So let's see what else is going on with your header.
Here's another thing. Like when I was watching you do the lecture, like you would select things and then on the side it would have like the text box highlighted and things like that. It wouldn't highlight like my text box at all. So I had to find a way to manually kind of try to do my adjustments too.
Right. So let's see if we can fix that so you can go back to normal. On line, erase lines 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And change the text align to center on line 16.
I can just type in center, right?
You can just type in center. And then scroll down. Your HP banner, that.
At least I got the colors to stick.
Scroll down. That's good. Let's see your info box 10. Background color. Color is right. Your padding should be 44, 20, 20, 60. Okay,
That's
where it
what
says
never
30,
popped up.
where it says padding 30 pixels, you need to add a 44 pixels and a 20 pixels there. It shouldn't say 30. So then add another 20. You need another 20. It should say 44, 20, 20, 60.
Okay, so just space and put another 20?
Yes.
Because what the little thing on the side where you was doing the manual adjustment for the padding showed.
And the height should be set to 300 pixels. So hit your enter key and type height.
Oh.
Height. There you go. Hit your enter key and then 300 pixels.
You said enter after height?
Yeah, just hit enter. There you go. Now 300 pixels and a semicolon. There you go. Now let's go look at info box 10.
Right
Oh,
here.
info box dark. I'm sorry, info box dark. You're missing your H2 rule though. Put your cursor at the end of line 53 after that bracket.
Okay.
Hit your enter key. And type dot info dash box dash 10.
You said dash box?
Dash box dash 10 space H2. And then a curly bracket that's open on the right. Oh,
No,
other
that's
direction. There you go. Hit your enter key. And set the color. So type color. Colon. Pound. F, 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 F. Frank, 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 Frank.
white.
There you go. And a semicolon, and then hit your enter key and type padding dash top. Actually, you can just do, oh, no, you don't need the padding. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. You need to do font dash size. Colon 2 EM. Elephant Michael. Semicolon. And hit your enter key and do font dash family. Colon. And choose the one that says Gotham, Helvetica New, Helvetica Arial. There you go. And a semicolon and hit your enter key. And do text dash transform. Colon. Uppercase. A semicolon. Hit your enter key and do line dash height. colon, 93 pixels, semicolon.
Wait. You said space 93?
No, just 93
Okay.
pixels in a semicolon.
Pixels and a colon.
Semicolon.
Oops.
Hit your enter key and do letter dash spacing.
Okay. My phone started ringing. After the semicolon, I need to.
Yeah, that's correct. Hit your enter key and do letter dash spacing.
Spacing.
Colon, 5 pixels,
Oops.
semicolon. Okay, that's done. So now go down to your info box dark. And where it says padding, that should say 44, 20, 20, 60.
44, 20, 20, 60.
Text align center, and then put your cursor after the colon, after center, hit your enter key and do height, 300 pixels. Colon, 300 pixels.
Give me just a moment.
Yeah, now then, that's the info box 10, info box. Go up and highlight lines 54 through 61 and copy them.
Sorry about that. After the 300 pixels, what am I putting?
A semicolon.
Oops. There we go. Semicolon.
Now go up and highlight lines 54 through 61. Copy it. And then put your cursor at the end of the bracket on line 69. Hit your enter key. Paste. And change tan to dark on line 70.
Okay.
And then scroll down. You're missing your style logo. Put your cursor at the end of line 77. Hit your enter key and type dot style dash logo.
Dot style. Dot logo.
Dash logo.
Dash logo.
And your curly bracket.
To the right, right?
Yeah, open to the right. Hit your enter key and do text dash align colon.
Oops, colon. And I
You
got
misspelled the line. Lign. There you go. And center. You just hit your enter key and it'll type center for you. And then a semicolon and hit your enter key and do margin dash left. Colon, auto. And just hit your enter key. Semicolon. Hit your enter key and do margin dash right. Auto. Semicolon. And then your dot column rule. Erase where it says text align center and change that to say width 100%.
So change center to width 100%.
All of it. That attribute needs to be changed to width. Text align should say width and center should say 100%.
Gotcha. Text width.
Nope, just width.
WIDTH?
Yeah, get rid of the word text. It should just say width.
Gotcha. Width?
Yes.
Then center should be 100%.
100%. percent sign. There you go. And then you've got your nav UL. And minimum height, erase line 89. You don't need that.
Erase line 89.
And then text nav ULLI. Erase line 92, 93.
Erase 92 and 93.
92, 93, 94.
Okay, 92. Oops, that's 91. 92, 93.
And 94. Yes. Erase that. And your line height should be set to 172%. And then you have your ULLIA rule. Text decoration color. That's correct. Scroll down.
Wait a minute, which one?
Scroll down. You're good. And you're missing some. We'll go ahead and do it for your assessment too. Put your cursor after line 100, after the bracket on line 100.
An extra bracket?
Yes. No, not an extra bracket. Just put your cursor there and hit your enter key and type .social-media.
Social.media?
Dash.
Oh, dash media.
And then the bracket, curly bracket open to the right. Put your enter key and do text dash align center semicolon. Put your cursor at the end of that bracket on line 104.
Didn't I need to backspace this, right?
Yeah.
Center after center?
Yes. No, not after center. Put your cursor after the bracket on line 104.
Okay.
And then hit enter. And do .social-media space IMG.
Social-media
space IMG. And then a curly bracket open to the right. Hit your enter key. And do text dash align center.
Is it supposed to be right after that bracket, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I need to move that here, right?
No, it should be on line 105 is where you need to start typing.
Ah, gotcha. So just move this back up.
Right there.
From there.
Well, you need to hit your tab key one time. It should be aligned with the purple text right there. So text dash align.
Oh. You said image dash align?
Text.
Oh, text. Okay.
Colon. Center. Semicolon. Hit your enter key. And then margin dash right. 50 pixels.
Do I still need the colon?
Yes.
50 pixels.
Semicolon. Don't hit your enter key.
Okay.
Put your cursor after the bracket on line 107. Hit your enter key. And do footer dash text.
Dash text.
And a curly bracket open to the right. Hit your enter key and type color, colon, and pound FFFFFFF. So Frank.
That is 6, right?
Semicolon. Enter key.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's 7 Fs. So
Oh, it should be
this one.
Yeah, one less. There you go. Hit your enter key and do text dash align and center it. Semicolon. Hit your enter key and do padding dash top
dash
top. 5 pixels in a semicolon. Don't hit your enter key.
pixels and a semicolon.
Yeah, put your cursor at the end of the bracket on line 112.
And press enter.
Hit your enter key and do dot COL dash images and a curly bracket open to the right. Enter key, width, colon, 100% semicolon.
There we go. Colon, and then just put 100%.
And a semicolon. Percent. You need the percent sign, not the pixels.
Sorry about that. And then the enter. There we go.
Oh, forgot the semicolon.
Oops. Semicolon, then enter.
Okay, now scroll down. You see tablet view right underneath that. There we are. Okay, so then we've got your body is right. Your HP banner is right. Keep scrolling down. Style nav ULLI. Erase list style type. Erase line 131, 132, 133. Erase those and change the line height to 172%. You got your display right. Erase text align center, line 135. And erase line 137. And then put your cursor after the last bracket on line 138. Hit your enter key. You should have a rule that says dot info dash box dash 10.
Dash box dash 10.
Curly bracket open to the right. Hit your enter key. And height, colon, 338 pixels, semicolon. Hit your enter key. And then need one that says width 50%.
Oh wait, underneath, like, what am I putting?
Width.
Please click. There we go. Width.
Colon 50%. Semicolon. Hit your enter key and float column left.
Float
Colon
colon.
left.
Got it.
Semicolon. Now copy, highlight lines 139 through 143. One more, get that bracket.
Oh. Do I need the top bracket too?
Nope, just that bottom one. Now copy it and put your cursor at the end of that bracket on 143 and hit your enter key. And paste and change tan to dark. And then put your cursor At the end of the bracket on line 148, hit your enter key and do dot COL dash MD dash 1, the word,
Oh,
dash half, bracket open to the right, hit your enter key. The width needs to be set to 50%. So colon, 50%, semicolon. Hit your enter key, float it left. Semicolon, hit your enter key.
I'm forgetting that.
And then it needs padding.
Okay.
So type, hit your enter key and type padding, colon. And it's going to be 5 pixels, just type 5 pixels. All of them are the same, so you can just type it one time. Semicolon. Okay. Now scroll down. You should see desktop view. Let's check it out. Hold on. Erase lines 168, 169, and 170. Wait, is that right? Oh, is that right? HP banner. Background, size, and height. Yep, that's right. Okay, and then you're going to have we got stab now, ULLI, erase line 171 and 172 and 173 and your line height should say, well, you can erase those blank spaces because you gotta add some more rules right there.
Okay. So
you just delete those. The line height should say 172.
Just put it to line 171.
172. Line height should be 170. Oh, one more up, yes, and it should be 172%.
Right. I remember that part. 72.
Then put your cursor after the semicolon. And you need to set the display to inline block.
I type display, right?
Yeah, hit your enter key and then type display. When you see it come up in that little drop down menu, just hit your enter key. And then inline dash block. Nope, not just inline. It's inline dash block. There it is. Semicolon, hit your enter key. In margin right, margin dash right, 68 pixels,
You said
semicolon. Hit your enter key and text align center. Semicolon. And then we have your style nav QL. Erase line 179. And put your cursor at the end of the bracket on line 180. Hit your enter key and type header. Curly bracket open to the right. Hit your enter key. Set the padding to 32 pixels for the semicolon.
Padding, colon, 32 pixels.
Semicolon. Hit your enter key and do text align left. semicolon.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. Now go down and put your cursor after the bracket for the ending of that header rule. So line 184. That's the end of your media query. You want to go right after that rule. There you go. Hit your enter key and do dot style dash logo.
You said style, right?
Yep, style dash logo. Curly bracket open to the right. Hit your enter key. Text align center. Colon, semicolon, I mean. Enter, margin left, auto, and then margin right, auto. No, you need to actually do margin dash left, margin dash right.
Margin dash left.
Auto, semicolon,
Enter.
and then margin right.
Right.
Auto, semicolon. And then put your cursor after that closing rule. And hit your enter key and type dot social dash media.
Dash media.
Curly bracket open to the right.
Keep forgetting that.
Hit your enter key. Text align center. Semicolon. Float, enter key, float right. Semicolon, enter. Width, auto. Semicolon, and then put your cursor at the end of that closing bracket. And hit your enter key and type dot footer dash text.
Dot footer dash text.
Yes. Curly bracket open to the right. Hit your enter key. And padding top 5 pixels.
Padding
Top dash top. You need to do padding dash top.
There it is.
5 pixels in width 55%. Don't forget your semicolon. They won't work without those semicolons.
Semicolon. With
55%. Semicolon. Put your cursor after that closing bracket.
I was supposed to press enter after that, right?
Hold on a second. Something is not right about the CSS file. Headers. Oh, there we go. Okay, you got your. And do dot style dash nav.
Dot click. Dot style
Dash nav, NAV.
nav.
Curly bracket open to the right. Hit your enter key. And do float right.
Dash. No. Yeah, float dash right.
Float dash. No, float.
Yeah,
colon right.
There it is.
semicolon, and enter key, margin top, 6%.
6%.
6%. Semicolon. And then let's see, you got your social media. All right.
We went through all that. I didn't even see that the video on the top moved.
Put your cursor at the end of that closing bracket. And we did the footer tags. We've got one more to do. Hit your enter key and do .col. Let me go back and see if that rule was caught. It's not column median 1/2. It is called .col. .col dash LG.
Okay, dash. You said LG?
LG, yes, like light and gorilla.
Gotcha.
Dash 1, the word 1. Dash 4th.
The number 4?
The word 4th, like you came in 4th place.
Yes. Well, as soon as I spell it right, FOUR.
It's, yeah, RTH.
Oh, fourth. Gotcha.
And bracket, open to the right. Set the width to 25%. Semicolon, hit your enter key, float left. Semicolon, and then the padding to 5 pixels.
And enter padding. You said padding.
5 pixels. Yeah, just padding. Because you're setting all of it, and they're all the same, so you can just use the word padding. Semicolon. Now go into your source, go to File, go to Save All.
This is a lot. I actually tried to do this.
You did pretty good. You were just missing some few key things there. Go to your source code because we need to check a few things and make sure you have
Okay.
the right code on here. Go down to line 55. In here. Okay, it's actually line 58 on your screen. See where it says image SRC equals, and it says home image 1 JPG?
Right here?
On line 58. Now, see on the very line, the line right below that where it says Alt, ALT, put your cursor in front of the A, and do class equals quotations. When you see the word class pop up, just hit your enter key.
So it's going to take that away, right?
No, you're going to leave Alt there, and you're going to type class equals quotation marks and COL images. See it right there in your list? You can just click on it. Go. Hit your space bar. You're going to do that to each one of those. So the next line, go find the ALT, input the class equals, column images right there.
Where are you?
In front of it. There you go.
Equal. Call.
Quotations.
Oops. Before the call. Okay. Quotation. COL. There we go.
COL images.
Oh.
COL dash images.
There it is. Now space.
Space. And then do the next one. Space. And the next one.
Okay. Oops. So all of them now have that.
Okay, but now your info box is not working. So let's see. You've got info box dark. Column medium 1/2. That's 25%. And it shouldn't be. Go click on styles.css. We're in desktop view right now. At the top there.
So I need to go
Scroll up. Yeah, scroll up and find me your dot column -1 -half right there. Scroll back down.
I just had it. Wait a minute, I just saw it.
That's your tablet view. That should not be showing on your desktop view.
Do I need to find this underneath the desktop view?
Go back to your source code. Let me check something. It should just say dot column, not medium. Scroll up some and find the one that says info box dark right there. Okay, line 49. Erase where it says COL-MD-1 -half and just leave the COL, line 49.
So
erase all of that word, the COL-MD-1 -half. Oh, not the brackets. You're going to have to add those backs.
Oops. Everything
Just
before. So that.
Not the quotation. Add the quotation. Hit your backspace again. Close that space and add your quotation. There you go. There's one. Now go up to the one above it, line 42, and do the same thing. Erase that space. And there you go. That fixed that. Now scroll up so we can see your header.
All right, there's one more, isn't there?
One of them is supposed to have the medium box on it. It was those two that weren't supposed to have it on it. You fixed both of those. Okay. So scroll back up on your artboard so we can see the header area. Scroll up some more. That looks better. So now grab your gray bar and pull it over to 768. That's correct. Pull it to 450. That's correct. Scroll down and let's see your footer. You need to add your image icon. So go in your code and scroll down and find your footer tag. Okay, put your cursor after line 66. And hit your enter key. And you're going to do a div tag. So just like line 66, except for the class is going to say class equals social dash media.
So erase.
You're going to do that
For that media?
You're going to type, nope, you're going to, on line 67, you're going to type exactly what you see on line 66, except for the word row.
So div.
Yes.
Space.
Class. When you see the word class pop up, just hit your enter key.
Oh, there. I see it.
Then social. Right there. Hit your enter key. Now put the little closing bracket on the end of that. Hit your enter key. Now you're going to do an IMG tag. It's going to have the little opening bracket. You've got to have your bracket on there. Every tag has to have that little V bracket.
Gotcha.
Greater than sign. There you go. IMG space. When you see SRC pop up, hit your enter key. S is in Sam, R is in, there you go. Hit your enter key. Hit browse. And go into your site root folder, find your images file. Right there. Click on images and click on your Facebook icon. Hit open. Now do space, Alt, ALT, when you see it right there at the beginning, click it, and do Facebook icon. And then after that quotation, do your little closing bracket for that tag.
Does it matter that I put a space between Facebook and icon?
Yeah, that's alt text, so it should have spaces.
Okay. And then after that, the closing bracket?
Yeah, your little less than sign. There you go. Hit your enter key and do the exact same code, except for this time you're going to choose the Pinterest icon.
IMG space SRC equal.
Hit your enter key there. Hit. You have to do browse and Pinterest this time. And then your alt text should say Pinterest.
Equals Pinterest icon.
And the closing bracket, enter key, one more time for the Twitter icon.
G space SRC equal Twitter open space
Yes.
equals Twitter icon.
Closing bracket.
Yes. Closing bracket.
Now then, grab your slider bar there and drag it out to 768. Let's see how it looks. Feel good. Drag it all the way open. All the way over.
Oh, to the desktop view.
Now scroll all the way down. At the bottom of your screen, see where it says 908 again? Change that to 1024.
Yeah, for some reason, it won't let me scroll that far.
Yeah, there it is. It's because your screen's just not big enough, so you have to manually do it at the bottom, so it'll shrink it for you. You're good. So that's your assignment and assessment. It's done.
So now, I guess the biggest question that I have about this, that I guess when I try to do it the automatic way that you had did it on the lecture, you know, selecting the images and then doing the sizing yourself. In my case, would I have to write this all out?
What do you mean write it all out? Say that.
It seemed easier for me to write this than it was for me to try to do the whole text and moving it aligned center, because like I said, for some reason my Dreamweaver wasn't working like it was supposed to. Like, it didn't even show me the chance where I could do the centering and everything.
Well, I think that was because you had that error in your CSS code, but we fixed that, and then everything started working okay. We need to remember is to make sure to look at the bottom of your screen. You see that green check mark?
Right.
Anytime you're in your HTML code and that's not green, that means you have an error in your code. You're going to find the number that's glowing. There will be a number that's red or yellow or something like that, a line number that's red or yellow, and it means you have an error there. Same thing with your CSS. So when you click on styles.css at the top, if there's not a green check mark, something's wrong in that CSS code. And when something's wrong in the code, that means none of it is really working.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, that means you've got to find the error before you can figure out whether your CSS is working or it's not. Because at that point, it's not working.
Okay. Then I guess I can go ahead and
as far as typing it out like your CSS, like we were just doing, absolutely, I type my CSS. I showed you guys the designer because some people find it a lot easier than having to type everything out. Yeah. I myself would rather type my CSS than use the designer. So if you're more comfortable typing it out, then type it out.
I think from the way that this is looking, it looks like for me, it may be easier for me to physically type this out.
Yeah, then go for it. I physically type mine out when I do CSS. I don't use that designer unless I'm teaching this class. So go for it. Type it out if you want to. That's fine. Just make sure that you're in the right place in the code. Where it says desktop view, that's your desktop rules. Where it says tablet view, that's your tablet rules.
Right, but I'll have to write them all out per their viewing.
Right.
Okay. I'm actually going to try that, seeing if it works. And then I'll have to go over the lecture anyway to go over this week's lesson and everything. But it looks like everything was going through Photoshop, so.